Hey, welcome in. Well, in the latest news that should surprise nobody, we have a headline. Publishers' woke staff revolt and cry. They're crying. They cry over Jordan Peterson's new book. This is from the postmillennial.com, by the way. So it seems like there's some woke staff that is apparently literally crying over Jordan Peterson's new book. They don't want to publish it, and they're revolting. Of course they are. The staff are revolting. I know, and they're mad about the Jordan Peterson book, too. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Dr. Jordan Peterson's new book brought staff at Penguin Random House to actual tears. Again, I'm not surprised by that. His new book, Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, announced on Monday, comes 3 years after 12 Rules for Life, which was a massive bestseller. The announcement of the new work filled employees with sadness and concern as they cried to the publisher to not let the publication go forward. Because who knows what kind of damage helping people to gain control over their lives so they can live responsibly. I mean, who knows how much damage that could cause. I mean, the last thing that the woke want is for people to be like happy and responsible, right? But anyway, it says here, according to Vice, the employees confronted management at a town hall regarding the company's decision to publish the book. 4 of these employees spoke to Vice regarding the town hall and the dramatic scene of dismayed employees. It says here, quote, several employees cried at the meeting. Okay, maybe this whole, handing over the reins of Western civilization to the most emotionally erratic and neurotic people in Western civilization, maybe this is a bad idea. Because I'm telling you right now, if you've ever seen anything of Jordan Peterson's actual work and his actual beliefs, there is nothing there that should make anybody cry. I mean, he's very anti-authoritarian, right? So I guess they like authoritarianism, so that might make them cry, but it shouldn't rationally, right? Rationally, that shouldn't make them cry. I mean, he's against compelled speech. Does that make them cry? I guess so. I guess they like that. I guess it's just anybody who offers any resistance to just whatever woke fad is up next. Anyway, and here's somebody, Jonathan K. What did he say? He said, people are dying from the coof, losing their businesses, and these spoiled brats transform into babies, he said, because their employer is publishing a book they don't like. That seems to be enough, for sure. And as we can see, it is. Let's see. One employee said, quote, people were crying in the meeting about how Jordan Peterson has affected their lives. What? How has he affected their lives? I mean, is it that traumatic for somebody to tell you to clean up your room? Is it? It shouldn't be. And let's see. One coworker allegedly discussed how Peterson had, radicalized their father. What, radicalized him out of authoritarianism? Because he's very anti-authoritarian on either the left or right. There's nothing radicalizing about Jordan Peterson. That's the thing. He's actually quite a centrist. But of course, every response to any pushback on wokeism has to be hysterical. Let's see. Another talked about how publishing the book will negatively affect their non-binary friend. Why? I just don't get this. Can somebody just say, look, other people exist in the world, okay? Other people exist. You have to respect their rights as well. Jordan Peterson is not anti-non-binary or anything else. He just is. He's opposed to compelled speech when it comes to pronouns. That's it. It's not even foundationally about like gender or anything like that. It's just about simply government authority and authoritarianism. And again, compelled speech. Because, of course, if you don't have the right to say what you think, if you're forced to lie under penalty, that obviously has dire consequences for people, all people, down the road. Anyway, let's see what other whining was going on here. One junior employee aggressively accused Peterson of being transphobic. He is not. Let's see, quote, he is an icon of hate speech and transphobia, and the fact that he's an icon of, White supremacy, regardless of the content of his book. I'm not proud to work for a company that publishes him. Let's just look at this sentence. This is everything that's wrong with wokeism. He is not an icon of hate speech or transphobia. That is, he has never said anything that would reflect that. And let's see, he's an icon of white supremacy. He is not. They don't like him, okay, because he's an anti-identitarian. They are identitarians. He is not. He's opposed to that. Again, he's opposed to authoritarianism and identitarianism. So he's against those kinds of policies or those kinds of ideas. So they don't actually like him. So everything in this so far is just a blatant, obvious, provable lie. But then they go on and say, regardless of the content of his book. So it doesn't matter what he says, right? It doesn't matter what he says. You can just brand him as being an icon of something that he's not an icon for. And that's just completely ignore truth. And that's good enough. You know, if it helps you get what you want, which is to basically oppress other people and deny other people their rights, well, then it's good enough, right? Then the ends justify the means, right? I mean, what we see here is, aside from being dishonest, it's just hysterical. Just going to interrupt for 1 second to say, if you like this content, subscribe so you can see more. Thanks a lot. And I think the thing is, because there's no incentive to actually interrogate any of these claims for anybody, for journalists, for just regular people, there's no incentive to interrogate these false claims because you get nothing from it. I mean, all you're going to get is attacked with the exact same tactics, right? Now you're the witch. You know, maybe Jordan Peterson isn't a witch. You're a witch too. That's the way it goes. So really, I mean, you're disincentivized from ever, I guess, again, interrogating these charges. You know, what's the upside? You know, a crisis of conscience? Well, that's not very convenient. When all that really matters is, you know, popularity on Facebook. You have to be able to say the things that you're expected to say to be part of the gang. And more importantly, to not be attacked. And plus, I mean, have you been regularly accusing people of heresy? You know, a silence is violence, right? So, I mean, just silence itself is very suspect. So there's really no upside to being a decent human being, right? So it's entirely possible that these people that are being quoted here don't even know. They've never looked at any of his work. They've never seen one of his lectures or read his book or anything, right? It's just this kind of performative role that they know they're supposed to play and that there's no downside to it. Anyway, the employees also allege that Penguin Random House intentionally kept the publication a secret, even hiding it in the internal database. Well, I wonder why. Let's see, quote, "I feel it was deliberately hidden and dropped on us once it was too late to change course," said the employee. And who's the employee? One junior employee. Okay, just hand the company over to this person. I'm sure nothing could go wrong. Oh, and this is grand here. This is grand. The employees also accused the publisher of seeking a profit. Well, I mean, that's the biggest crime. I guess they're all working for free, right? I guess they don't do their jobs for profit, right? I guess they're all volunteers. Let's see. What do they say? Quote, "They're not going to acknowledge the reason they're doing it is for money. I feel that would be more honest route to go rather than making up excuses for Jordan Peterson," they said. Or how about just telling the truth about Jordan Peterson? But they don't like that very much. I can guarantee you that much. But, you know, credit to the executives here. They haven't folded yet. The executives of the company widely defend Peterson. Publisher Ann Collins talked about how Peterson has, quote, "helped millions of people who are on the fringes of society who would otherwise be radicalized by alt-right groups." Or alt-left groups, or just left-wing groups, or whatever you call them now. Communists, right? I think we should maybe mention that too. I'm sure a few of those have been saved from suicidally stupid ideas. But I think this is also not true in that there's very few actually what is called alt-right people. I mean, it's all very confusing now as the categories have all shifted because, you know, just like a traditional liberal now is considered to be, you know, alt-right by some people on the left anyway. But when you're talking fringe, I mean, you're talking about necessarily, you know, a small group, right? So the vast majority of people, as far as I can tell, are just normal people who are just feeling some chaos in their lives. They want to try and make some sense out of it and find productive rather than counterproductive ways of living. But anyway, here's another quote, and it really does show just how delusional and entitled these people are. It says, nonetheless, the employees felt that, quote, she was trying to kind of spin it as a positive to be publishing this book. There's just no getting through to them is the problem, right? It can never be a positive. Something that helps people can never be a positive if it strays in any way from the demands of the most woke. And certainly giving into these people doesn't help. So I'm glad they're standing their ground. Here's more delusional thinking here. But he is the one who's responsible for radicalizing and causing the surge of alt-right groups, especially on university campuses. Yeah, because university campuses are a hotbed of that, right? If there's a problem on university campuses, it's not alt-right groups. It's communists and Marxists. Like, nobody taught these people that they're bad too, right? Nobody ever taught them about, like Stalin or like Mao. And look, I don't think that everybody on a university campus is a communist or a Marxist, obviously, right? But I'm saying is that those are acceptable ideas on college campuses. And I think, obviously any idea should be acceptable for discussion on a university campus. It's just that you need to distribute, criticism and pushback equally across the ideas, which doesn't appear to be the case. So what are their demands? Well, obviously they want it canceled, right? That's the whole thing. Cancel culture, cancel this, cancel that, everything canceled. We haven't read it. We don't know anything about him, but we heard he's bad, so cancel him. Oh, and get this here. Get this. This is hilarious. If they cannot prevent cancellation, they demand profits from the book to alphabet organizations. So again, perfectly reasonable. And again, let me just stress, these people obviously know nothing about Jordan Peterson. If you did, you simply couldn't hold those beliefs. But again, there's no incentive. There's only disincentives to actually find out what he's really about. There's nothing to gain from it for them, so they won't. So they'll keep being hysterical and crazy until hopefully at some point an adult stands up to them. And thankfully, at least there's some adults at Random House that are willing to tell them to sit down and shut up. Apparently, we'll find out. I guess we'll find out if they stick to their guns. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, I'm on pretty much every platform, including Spotify. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.